What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. As always, it's free to subscribe, and today we're talking about overpowered center backs, and a lot of you had opinions on Twitter, and I went through your replies. I also, of course, take into consideration who I've been playing against, who I've been playing with, all the above. If you're brand new to this series, you should check out the playlist. We've done every single position, and there are a few rules or restrictions or guidelines. First off, we are only analyzing and inserting gold foot items. I'm not looking at informs or road to the final versions and variations of different items that have been released. I'll do a separate video talking about some of those players, mainly because even if they're not as high rated, because of the rarity, they're often relatively expensive. Gold players only, and under an 85 overall rating, because I feel once you get to an 85, it's no longer overpowered, it's expected. That guy needs to put up. He should deliver. If he doesn't, we're disappointed. If you enjoy it, make sure to drop some love on the video, share it around the community, talk to me in the comments. We can always go back and forth. I had a couple comments on the last video talking about fullbacks, where you guys just started listing out all these players that are overpowered, and I'm asking you,
well, who are you replacing for my countdown to insert this 10 person list that you've added to the countdown?
we're not just going to talk about every player that's good. We're going to put them in order. I'm going to tell you the guys that I would prioritize over other players if you're making that pickup. You're inserting them into a starting 11. You've got a draft opportunity. Maybe you got to do some sort of objective in Rivals. I got you covered. As always, we're talking about honorable mentions before we get into that top 5. And HERMOSO, some would say Super Mario, might not be as popular of a choice as some of the other guys in this countdown in terms of him having that clout or that juice or just being a household name. But if you've used him in a draft, and I feel in many ways that's how HERMOSO was introduced to many players, is you couldn't find the correct partnership or the high-rated partnership you wanted in a draft. So instead of having Ramos, you might have Mario. Instead of having Varane, you could have Mario, or Long-Live Mario, Umtiti, Mario. You get the idea. He made that exchange rate, and he can get the job done. I'm not saying he's going to be better than the highest-rated players in the game, and that's why he's in the honorable mention position. Next up, Bai. And I'm actually kind of sad to put him into the honorable mentions category because we've seen him in previous installments where he would definitely, hands down, no question, no debating, be in the top 5. This year, something is just missing a tad, but he still has the pace, the physical stature, the presence. He's going to be able to break up plays. Unfortunately, for yours truly, Bai concedes a lot of penalty kicks. I don't know why. He just seems to be more prone to concede penalties, at least when I've been using him, so that's kind of a drawback. And you're not going to get quality passing out of the back. He doesn't turn as quick as some of the other center backs in this countdown. Last of the honorable mentions, AKANJI. And I reckon he'll be in the top 5 for some of you. I'm curious where you rank him, if he makes it into your honorable mentions or if he makes it into your top 5. But obviously he has the pace. He has green stats across the board for defending, consistent, reliable in the Bundesliga, which in general, the Bundesliga is one of the most underappreciated leagues for being able to put together cheaper squads that can give you good results via the weekend league or Rivals, or just against your friends. If you're playing friendlies, you want to try out some different players, or if you're looking to create a hybrid where maybe one half of that hybrid is just more affordable, Bundesliga is a good place to go. Number 5, KIMPEMBE. And when we're looking at the Ligue 1, we always talk about Neymar and Mbappe, but KIMPEMBE, from day one, gives you the French connection. Good size. A true 75 overall pace. When you break that down, you get in those in-game statistics, everything is a 70 plus. And I bring that up because there's many foot items that have high pace stat line on their foot item, on that card. However, when you go into the in-game breakdown, it's misleading. They might have very high acceleration or very high sprint speed, but then they have a low agility, or vice versa. And if any of those 3 stats are low, so let's say you have an 85 on your foot item, but then out of nowhere you've got a 70 for your acceleration, or 70 for sprint speed or agility, even though with the makeup it still comes out to an 85, and I'm giving you an example here. I'm obviously not talking about KIMPEMBE. That's going to affect the foot item, and it's misleading because when you're looking at the baseline, you're saying to yourself,
oh, he should be really fast. Oh, he should definitely be zooming past people.
Not always the case. Or
his turns, he should be very agile.
KIMPEMBE often moves and feels like a CDM, more so than a center back in some ways on the offensive end too, which is a hand clap. Sanchez, 6'2", eyes are not blue, and he is going to block everything in the box. One of the best center backs on the defensive end. And I'm not an AI defender. I'm not sitting here holding contain or just jockeying back and forth, left and right, trying to mirror your movement. But I have noticed that Sanchez will slide everywhere. He puts his body in the way. He's one of those guys that really commits to the tackles, commits to the interceptions, gives you a certain presence as a center back. And the only drawback, and what keeps him from being higher on this countdown, I don't like using Sanchez offensively at all. And you might question, well, he's a defender. Why does that matter? He still has to be able to pass out of the back. When you win possession, you got to do something with it. There's a certain level of comfort. Your turns left, your turns right, you have to be able to start your attack. Ideally, you don't want to have a defender where you have to second guess if he can make that pass, or if he's going to be able to turn quick enough to evade maybe one of those attackers, or just take a quick sidestep. You name it. It's a bonus. It's a bonus. That's his downfall. That's all I'm saying. Number 3, Lucas Hernandez. And for many, I actually think Hernandez could go as far as number 1 on this countdown. He is the most underappreciated. He is the most underrated center back in FIFA 20. I don't see him talked about enough, whether it's social media, squad building. People are always sending me their squads, and I don't see Hernandez, and I don't know why. He's left-footed. He's got the French link-ups. Obviously, in the Bundesliga, not expensive. He fits everything you could ask for. And you've got a fullback that's playing as a center back. I mean, this guy is fast. He will always recover. He's never out of a play. And you might ask, well, Mike, why is he at number 3 then for you? Why is he at the midway point? I just think we got a couple players that fall into this category where I say broken. I don't know why it came together for broken. But no shots at Hernandez. He's not really lacking anything. I mean, he's not the tallest guy, 6 foot. And he doesn't have one of those builds where he feels like he's bigger than 6 foot. He looks and feels consistent to what his size is listed at and what you get on the virtual pitch. Number 2, Gomez. Not really a surprise. He has to be in the countdown. Many of us have teamed him up with Virgil van Dijk, whether it was early on in the year. If you're coming into December, that partnership still works. If you have a big budget, you can get one of the upgraded versions or foot items of Gomez, but he's 6'2", kind of looks like Virgil van Dijk on the pitch, so he might even round up where he looks like he's 6'3" or 6'4", breaks up everything, recovers to everything. He doesn't feel like his rating at all. I can go on and on about superlative on superlative on superlative. He just has it. This is one of those guys that will last all year long in some capacity. Whether it's going to be in Rivals, the Weekend League, or the draft, squad battles, whatever you need Gomez for, he'll get the job done, and you don't notice him in any negative way. He might not be the greatest passer out of the back, but even that's a debatable. He just doesn't follow any rules. I don't know if it's because he plays for Liverpool or what happened here, but he's just a special foot item. That brings me to number 1, numero uno. Militao. Another guy that can do it all. Never gets tired. He'll be everywhere on the pitch. Brazilian link-ups, of course, in La Liga. Everything you could ask for, and you're still seeing him in competitive squads now. I even upgraded from his standard gold foot item, and I now have the Road to the Final foot item, which is very expensive. I will say that. That was not cheap, and that's why I can't put somebody like that in the countdown. I can't use that upgraded item and say, yeah, go pick him up. He's so overpowered. I think I got him for 650,000 coins. But the top 2, I don't even know if I need to say anything about their stats because they're just on their own plan. They stand out so much to me. Elusive or unique, broken, overpowered. They're the definition of that. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like. Definitely plays into the YouTube algorithm. If you're new, it's free to subscribe. And talk to me in the comments. What do you think of the top 5? The honorable mentions. Who did I leave off? Who deserves more credit? We can go back and forth a little bit. I look forward to it, and I have a lot more content come for you ASAP.